All right, gang, tonight I am off to the cinema to go check out Gifted. Otherwise known as the Craig Coban story. Oh, snap!
Jordan fades back, swoosh, and that's the game!
Seriously, though, this movie is from the director of the last two Amazing Spider-Man films, and it stars Captain America. But it is not a part of the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe. At least, I don't think it is. Is it? All right, gang, I just got out of Gifted.
You can keep homeschooling me.
Tell you everything I know. No more argument, okay? We've discussed this ad nauseum.
What's ad nauseum?
You don't know? Wow, looks like someone needs school.
Spoiler alert, this movie kind of hit me in the feels. It's not a 3 hanky drama, but it's like a 1.5, 2 hanky drama. Okay, so for those who are uninitiated, Gifted is this drama about this man played by Chris Evans, actually rather well by Chris Evans, more on him in a bit, who for the last several years has raised his niece like a father after his sister tragically committed suicide. It should also be noted that his sister was a brilliant mathematician.
Promised my sister I'd give Mary a normal life. I think she's got to be here.
This young girl is gifted, which is where the film gets its title from, because she clearly demonstrates an affinity for math and has math skills far beyond her 6 or 7 year old mind.
Mary, can you stand up, please? Can you tell me what 57 multiplied by 135 is? Okay.
7,695. The square root is 87.7 and change.
Chris Evans' uncle really is trying to keep that sort of a well-guarded secret, but it becomes really difficult when he enrolls her in a local school and the teacher there discovers this girl's affinity for math.
I think your niece may be gifted.
I am good friends with the headmaster of the Oaks Academy for Gifted Education.
And I guess this sort of propels the plot in motion when the young girl's biological grandmother shows up, and then the film sort of moves into this sort of courtroom child custody hearing. The grandmother wants to put this girl in, the best math schools in the country.
Who's that lady in front of our door?
That would be your grandmother.
Holy and shit. She wants to tap this girl's mathematical mind for everything it's worth, and she doesn't want her to squander her potential.
You are denying the girl her potential. How many 7-year-olds are doing advanced calculus?
You forgot the negative sign on the exponent.
Whereas the uncle wants this girl to have some semblance of a normal childhood life, which he thinks she will not get if you throw her into a university setting.
You take that girl, you can loan her out to some think tank where she can talk non-trivial zeros with a bunch of old Russian guys for the rest of her life.
And you'd bury her under a rock.
Of the positives for Gifted, I will say this. This is a very fine return to director form for Marc Webb. Now, Marc Webb, of course, spent the last several years making those 2 Amazing Spider-Man films. And the last one, of course, was kind of critically dragged through the mud. But he also, before the Spider-Man films, made one of the best romantic comedies of the last 10 years in 500 Days of Summer. Looking back on the Amazing Spider-Man films, I think Webb did a journeyman-like job with them, but I don't think he was ever really a great fit for them, and I was kind of yearning for him to return to sort of a low-key indie film drama roots that sort of cemented his career. I think that he's really shown in Gifted that he is a very solid director of actors, and he's really able to tap into the dramatic hearts of these films, and Gifted is obviously no exception.
Treason. If anybody takes that baby away, I'll smother you in your sleep.
My sister wanted Mary to be a kid. She wanted her to have friends and to be happy.
I know Chris Evans, I'll be very honest, like, In the early stages of Chris Evans' career, I never really thought that he was a particularly strong actor.
What? No.
And I think as I've grown to see him in more parts, I think I've grown to appreciate him as a very solid, understated actor with a real sort of earnestness and a sincerity. I think he really brings those traits to the table in Gifted, playing this uncle who only wants what's best for this little girl, but at the same time, on a pragmatic level, realizes that holding her back on an intellectual level is probably not doing her any favors either.
Made you special breakfast.
You can't cook.
Hey, Mary, open up. You look beautiful.
It also should be noted that the young actress playing the little girl is so not only adorable, but she is really quite brilliant in the film, and she has an incredible level of believable chemistry with Chris Evans.
I didn't want to go to this stupid school in the first place. And the boy in the next row acts inappropriately for someone who's a child.
I'm sorry, I'm still passive-aggressively ignoring you.
And I also like the fact too that she doesn't seem to demonstrate a lot of those annoying little mannered quirks that a lot of young actors have. She feels completely unforced and authentic in this film, and I think that really lends to the credibility of the film's dramatic epicenter.
Where's the special?
What?
You said you made me a special breakfast.
Oh, snap! Where I think the film sort of loses track is, of course, there is a courtroom procedural. I don't think those scenes work particularly very well, and I think it kind of, I don't know, they felt very perfunctory in this movie.
Tell us, do you have health insurance?
No.
Did you spend the night in jail?
Objection.
There's also a late-breaking plot development that involves, without going heavily into spoilers, a one-eyed cat. The manner with which this animal sort of introduced into the movie as this family pet, and the way it's used later to sort of propel the plot towards an inevitable confrontation and showdown between all the participants, kind of rang falsely for me, and it felt very contrived.
Mary!
He's bossy.
I've heard that.
But you know what? The emotional core of Gifted is certainly there. I think it creates some very interesting characters. I really like this central predicament that this uncle finds himself in trying to do the very right thing for this girl. I like all the relationship dynamics in the film. I think Marc Webb, again, is kind of going back to his creative wheelhouse in terms of doing the films that I think he feels more accustomed to and inclined to make. I found the film moving, well acted, well directed, and it was kind of a nice surprise for me, especially coming off of the last several weeks of film screenings that were kind of negligible at best. So there you go. There's my review of Gifted. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film. Also, let me know in the comments below what you think of the films of Marc Webb and what you think of Chris Evans as an actor. Thank you very much for watching. If you could like this video, I'd really appreciate it. If you could subscribe to my channel, give me some subscribe love. That would mean the world to me. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you at the movies.